Today we're going to talk about some blue fragrances and my personal top blue fragrances. So before I do talk about them, what is a blue fragrance actually? I mean, you know, what does it mean? No one knows what it means. It's provocative. Will Ferrell quotes aside, guys. So a blue fragrance refers to a loose genre of fragrances. And the reason why I say that is because there's no strict, decisive factor when we call a fragrance a blue fragrance. It just has to be in like this, in this kind of general ballpark, really. And so you have a woody or musky base usually. Then you have some aquatics, or some citruses, or some aromatics, like sage and lavender. And these tend to be like the ballpark of the fragrances. So it has to have one of those parallel tops, the citrus, the aquatics or aromatics, or a combination. And then there tends to be usually like a woody or musky base. And they're these versatile fragrances that kind of make people feel fresh, make people have this, unique kind of feeling when we smell them. But also, it could be worn anywhere. They're not really tied to a season, at least not for the most part. So let's talk a little bit more about blue fragrances, and let me show you my top blue fragrances today. So, blue fragrances. So like we were saying, you have fragrances that have this woody, musky base. They usually tend to have some aromatics in them. They usually tend to have some aquatics or some kind of, citrus, right? So we have a couple of fragrances here, and are all of these blue fragrances? Well, like I said in the beginning, just because something's in a blue bottle does not mean it's a blue fragrance. So no, got a fire, you're not a blue fragrance. Actually, not really. And Leighton, no, Leighton is a warm, spicy fragrance. It's great for fall and winter, but it doesn't really invoke that kind of shower vibe, kind of fresh feeling we get from a blue fragrance. And it doesn't really have, much in terms of, the citrus profile. It does have some bergamot in the opening, yes, but it doesn't really have that blue. Now that we got rid of the blue, well, blue colored, but not blue fragrances, let's talk about my top 5. Now, before I talk about my top 5, I have to talk about the 2 honorable mentions and the ones people are going to come at me if I don't mention them. So the first is Dior Sauvage. Dior Sauvage is an aromatic and spicy. Oh man, I just think I made the council of F-boys upset. Sorry, but Dior Sauvage is an aromatic spicy fragrance that, it's versatile enough that it makes people feel, that they can wear it anywhere. But it's definitely a fragrance I'd avoid wearing at the gym. The spicy factor in it just makes it too cloying. So guys that wear Dior Sauvage at the gym, stop. You're almost as bad as the BR 540 guys, which, let's just take a moment. If you're wearing Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge 540 at the gym, or 540 straight at the gym, I hope you stub your toe, and I hope you don't hit any PRs. No one wants to smell that at the gym. You go nose blind to it, and then you overspray, and then you go nose blind to it again, and then you spray more. And now I could smell you while I'm walking into the locker room. I could smell you while I'm walking and trying to just, go past you, to the bench or something. And I don't like it. It's too cloying. Stop it. Stop wearing Baccarat Rouge at the gym. It's not a gym fragrance. Wear it on dates. If you can't get a date, then, maybe wearing Baccarat Rouge 540 at the gym is the reason why. So stop wearing Baccarat Rouge at the gym, and maybe women will actually talk to you. All right? Enough of my PCA and the anger I feel about Baccarat Rouge at the gym. Now, aside from Dior Sauvage, the other honorable mention we have is Versace Dylan Blue. The reason why I mentioned Versace Dylan Blue is these two guys kind of copy this right here, and because of that, you know, a lot of people will not like that fact, first of all, that these two are going to be on my list, or they're not going to like the fact that, you know, some of the good blue fragrances are clone fragrances. People, you know, some people are averse to wearing a clone, a Middle East fragrance, a dupe, an inspiration. You're like, I want to wear something original. Well, Versace Dylan Blue is your answer. Now, Versace Dylan Blue is aquatic, it has citruses, and it has this musk incense base that honestly makes it such a great versatile fragrance. And honestly, if you're trying to stick to designers but you can't afford the price tag for Chanel, then go to discounters and find Versace Dylan Blue, because honestly, it's not bad. It's pretty good. I haven't worn it too often, so I can't really talk to the longevity and projection on it, but it's a really good fragrance. So if you're interested in staying in the designer realm, Versace Dylan Blue is the go-to. Now, let's talk about the lowest on my list, and that is this guy right here. This is Super's Unique Blue. Now, Super's is a company based out of Hungary, if you don't know it, and this is Unique Blue. It has lemon, yuzu, pineapple, ginger, and some eucalyptus in here, and honestly, it's great in the opening. It's fun, it's fruity, and you know, it has this kind of salty twist. It really smells like, you know, you're eating a pineapple sorbet with lemon in it, and you're on the boardwalk on a beach. You know, it's a beautiful summer day where the wind's blowing at you and you're not sweating your balls off. That's what Unique Blue is. But as it dries down and it gets linear, guys, the citruses kind of mesh together, and you still have that like saltiness from the aquatic notes, the eucalyptus and everything like that. And then it kind of just becomes this like salty citrus. So for that reason, I'd put this at number 5. It's also 150 for 50 ml, so it's like, I mean, it's not a niche style smell, so I mean, it's a little ridiculous. And for that price, you can get some of these other ones or bundles of these other ones. So let's move on to that, which is going to bring us to number 4 on the list, which are both of these actually. So I couldn't decide on which one I wanted to put on this one, so I decided to put both. Now, Xena Imperial Blue and Club de Nuit Iconic are, you know, inspired by, or I'd say, you know, maybe clones of Bleu de Chanel. The reason why I say maybe is because Xena Imperial Blue, it does kind of have the same realm of notes, but then it doesn't have the same kind of woody dry down that you get with Bleu de Chanel and with Club de Nuit Iconic. Now, because of that reason, I'd say that Xena Imperial Blue is, you know, its own kind of unique thing, but the projection and the longevity on this do make it a little bit more fun to wear. Now, we have Club de Nuit Iconic. And now, before I actually talk more about that, guys, how cute is this Club de Nuit Iconic 30 ml bottle? I mean, just look at it. Just look, it's like this little baby. And actually, it's going to be part of today's giveaway. And this is going to be my last giveaway for the month of August. The month's closing in. We only got like 10 or so days, guys. So keep watching the video to see how you can enter the giveaway for this. But this is Club de Nuit Iconic. Now, Club de Nuit Iconic is essentially a parallel to Bleu de Chanel EDT with more of an EDP dry down. What I mean is essentially as this dries down, it gets a little bit more woody than the Eau de Toilette for Chanel. But the only issue I'd have with this is you got to go hard with sprays. So if you don't believe in overspraying, then you're not going to have fun with this bottle at all, or this fragrance at all. You have to kind of spray like, you know, a minimum of like 15 to 25 times, or at least I do. I'm, you know, I'm a bigger guy. I'm also, you know, I'm also brown, so it's like, you know, I'm big, I'm brown, you know, I gotta go hard with it. So that's the reason I put this at number 4. And then we have number 3. Number 3 is my go-to for the office usually, because it's just so easy to wear and it just works even when the air is cold or if it's hot out. And that's YSL Y EDP. This opens up with a ton of fresh apple, and then the sage kind of cuts the sweetness of the apple just a bit, that you don't feel cloying or you know, overwhelmed by that apple. And then it has this woody base that just makes it masculine. It draws attention, and I've honestly gotten a ton of compliments on this fragrance alone. You know, this is a YSL Y EDP, guys. If you want to stay designer and you can afford a little bit more, now this is probably worth it more than this. And this is another reason why this is ranked so low. $190 gets you this big bottle, guys. So it, you know, it's kind of a no frills buy. And I don't know if you guys can see, but like I've made a pretty good dent in this bottle. The bottle's about like, you know, 70% or 60, yeah, 70% I'd say. But this is probably one of my favorite fragrances, and you can go, you know, you can go liberal with this thing. You know, it has a fun feel to it. But YSL Y EDP is definitely a great blue fragrance. So if you want to stay designer, like I said, you can go for Versace Dylan Blue, or you can find YSL Y EDP. Retail, like I said, is like 190 or something like this, but if you find it at a discounter, guys, you can probably get like, you know, 150 or something like that. Probably even cheaper, because I did get this in a gift set. But then that brings us to number 2. Number 2 was actually even more difficult for me than number 4, because I had to choose which Bleu de Chanel I had to put in number 2. Now, Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette and Eau de Parfum are so hard for me to choose which one I love more. But I ended up going with Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette for one reason: projection. This thing is a woody citrus fragrance, and if you don't know Chanel, Chanel is probably the king of blue fragrances. The most iconic blue fragrance, and probably why the clone is called Club de Nuit Iconic. So this is a woody citrus fragrance. It has a woody base and is a little bit sweet, not that sweet, it's very, very slightly sweet. But it gets more woody and it gets more citrus, it loses the citrus profile as you go to the Eau de Parfum and the Parfum. The woods kind of take over. Now, the reason why this is number 2 is because this, as versatile and great it is, I wouldn't wear this to like a date personally, because its performance is not great. It only lasts about 4 hours, maybe 5 on a good day for me. And just like, you know, Xena Imperial Blue and Club de Nuit Iconic, you kind of gotta go with some extra sprays, especially with this one. Yeah, if I gotta go with extra sprays, then that kind of takes away points. But the fact that I have to go with extra sprays and this is number 2 speaks volumes on just how amazing this fragrance is, guys. But that's number 2. And now number 1 is the new Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif. And you're probably wondering, but is this really a blue fragrance? Yes. It's aromatic, it's woody, and it has that, you know, versatile aspect to it. Now, has to be the number 1 fragrance I've ever smelled. Honestly, the aromatic profile in this kind of rivals the aromatic profile in this, but it has that Bleu de Chanel woody citrus opening, and then it has this ambery resinous sweetness that just adds some depth into it that make it more masculine. And honestly, they make this thing into the black tie version of Chanel. And I'm gonna keep on saying that because it's true. This thing basically takes this entire series, entire line of fragrances, and makes it something that, you know, you'd imagine like, you know, celebrities to wear at like the Met Gala. Like, this is going to be the fragrance that's going to turn heads, guys. So if you want the best blue fragrance, I'm going to go with Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, followed close, well, not too closely, but followed by Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette. Now, if you made it this far in the video and you enjoyed my little talk and what blue fragrances are, if you want to win this 30 ml vial of Bleu de Chanel, of Club de Nuit Iconic, which is a clone of Bleu de Chanel, then make sure you're subscribed to my channel and go ahead and comment, because I need your comments to use random comment picker to choose who's going to win. Make sure you like the video as well, guys, and you can win a 30 ml vial or bottle of Club de Nuit Iconic. Now, this has been sprayed out a little bit, but for good reason. Clone fragrances sometimes need to get oxygen in there, and then oxygen basically helps the aromatic molecules interact and stabilize. Once they interact and stabilize with oxygen, then they actually settle into the true fragrance. Now, that's the case with this. Now, it actually smells like a clone of Bleu de Chanel. When I first got it and I first sprayed it, it smelled kind of weak and uninteresting. But now, it smells like someone took this, they upped the woods a bit, and they made it a lot cheaper. So, Club de Nuit Iconic, if you're a fan of Bleu de Chanel but you don't want to spend the buck. If you want something similar but you want more projection, then Xenia Imperial Blue is your choice. YSL Y EDP is a no-frills, aromatic, sweet, apple-forward, woody fragrance that, honestly, it's a killer on dates. Bleu de Chanel Le Exclusive, this is going to be the one that is going to turn heads. You're probably going to get every person wanting to, you know, give you a hug, or, you know, get you to spray this on them, or get you close enough so they can smell this off themselves, or they'll just ask you what you're wearing. But if you're into the whole aquatic, salty vibe, and you don't mind a little bit of a linear vibe going on, and you can splurge, then there's Unique Blue by Superz, which, can we just address the fact that the name is Unique Blue, guys, and your dry down is linear as fuck? I just find that funny. The name is Unique Blue, but your dry down's linear. So it's like, you know, just come up with a better name or rework the fragrance, guys. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to my videos. Guys, tell me, what is your go-to blue fragrance? Are you Team Dior? Are you Team Versace? Are you a fan of the clones? Are you a fan of YSL Y? Or are you like me and you're hard to not be a Bleu de Chanel fanboy, despite Chanel maybe not being the best company? But I can't help the versatility and, honestly, the great vibes that's in Bleu de Chanel. So guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.